So God bless you and thank you for joining me today. Welcome to another Courage Monday. So I do have some additional email things to show you, but I'm not going to do that this week. I really want to take a break from that. I mean, we all recognize and know what went on, and frankly, let's take a week or two and not talk about that anymore. I still have more to show you, but I just want to take a break from that because I think it gets to be another week of the same thing. And I don't want all of the Courage Mondays to be about fearing one thing. I want us to not be afraid, period. I want us to do what God says, period. I want to not be afraid because God is instructing us and we are doing what he tells us, and therefore there's no reason to be afraid. So I've got a couple of examples that I want to share with you today. And then for your enjoyment, you can take a look at the collection of dust bunnies that I'm showing you here on my lamp for fun. Okay, so in Numbers, so we see that here in this story, that God is instructing Moses what to do. And so Moses is going up against the king. So that kind of would be oh boy, he's the king, you know, I could see how you could want to get a little bit fearful. I mean, he's the king, for crying out loud. So Numbers 21, verse 33. Then they turned and went up the road to Bashan, and King Og of Bashan came out against them, and he and all his people to battle at Edrei. That sounds terrifying, doesn't it? But the Lord said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have given him into your hand with all his people and all his land." And the Lord goes on to give Moses instructions. But the very first thing that the Lord said to Moses is, do not be afraid of him. And Moses maybe felt like, this guy's the king, man. Wow, that's out of my league. But God said, do not be afraid. And that's the very first thing that God said to him. He was following what God asked him to do. And God said, don't be afraid. And I don't want us to be afraid when we are doing exactly what God is asking us to do. So let's take a look in the book of Joshua. This is chapter 10. And so I'm starting in verse 6. And the Gibeonites said to Joshua at the camp of Gilgal, saying, do not abandon your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us. For all the kings of the Amorites who live in the hill country are gathered against us. Again, all the kings, right? The rulers. So Joshua went up from Gilgal, he and all the fighting force with him, all the mighty warriors. The Lord said to Joshua, do not fear them, for I have handed them over to you. Not one of them shall stand before you. So here again, we see Joshua and the people that are with him, but they're against the ruling kings again. But what is the very first thing that God says to him? Do not fear them. So when you are doing what the Lord instructs you to do, and when you are walking where he tells you to walk, and when you are going where he tells you to go, and when you are doing exactly what the Lord is asking you to do. Here were two men, Joshua and Moses, up against the kings. And what is the very first thing that the Lord says? Do not fear them. Do not fear. Armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.